I'm going to talk a little bit about this Red Trangia kit. It's from about 1990 or so, and I'm going to show you some features, and I'm also going to show you the accessory original Trangia multi-fuel burner, which was essentially an Optimus Nova burner in a special cup. So I'm going to start with a few features of the Trangia kit, and then I'll get on to the multi-fuel burner stuff. First of all, as far as I can tell, this was Trangia's first production kit with the holes for the multi-fuel. That's for the control knob. That's where the hose comes out. And you can see that it says kerosene photogen gas, so you can also use a gas burner in this. And there's Trangia, and then photogen and kerosene again. I know you could also get a gas GAZ stove in Europe that you could also have a burner for this, but this is the US and it didn't really come with that. One of the things you'll notice about these earlier kits is that they don't have interlocking lids. It's just a complete circle, and there's no little tabs. And another thing you'll see is this is the original 27 kettle for the kit. It's marked. Oops, sorry about that. Hopefully this will focus. It's marked Trangia right there, and the inside is non-stick, just like the pots. So that's the 27 sized red tea kettle. Alright, moving on to the multi-fuel burner. It was sold through Brunton. This is the original fuel bottle. And see, some of the label remains. And then one of the features of these earlier kits is that the pumps had a special type of fuel fitting, and it's by a company called CEJN. Not exactly sure how you would say that, but there's the on side and the off side of the pump. It's got a replaceable, repairable valve in the bottom for when you're pumping in the air. It's got a filter on the fuel line, and it just screws into the bottle, and it's a flip type pump. And you've got the Optimus multi-tool, and then this is the burner. This is a cup that's made by Trangia, still available today, and it's basically an Optimus Nova burner. This one is made in Sweden. It's the real deal. It's an early one. You can see the CEJN type fitting at the end, and that just clips into the pump. So I'll show you how this works here. Take the multi-tool with the magnet, and this is the cleaning jet. I don't know if you can hear that, but this is the cleaning needle. The way it works, just move it back and forth. Anyway, you get the idea. So to put this into the base takes a little bit of trickiness, but you get the hose through, and you kind of wiggle the handle through. And basically just clips right in. You want to kind of get it set so that control spindle's sticking out the middle, but there you have it. Sticks in, and then to hook up the pump, you obviously want to put it in the fuel bottle first. Alright, and then you basically just do this, you just clip it on and you're set. So I turn it to the off position. Make sure that's closed. That's probably about 30 pumps, give or take. And gonna preheat this. So turn it to the on position. Crack the valve until some fuel starts coming out. Hopefully that, I don't think that's enough. I see it squirting out all over the place. And you preheat it. Now while this is preheating, I'm going to pour some water. This is 12 ounces according to the side of the Nalgene. I'm going to pour 12 ounces into the kettle, and I'm going to wait for this flame to burn down. I replaced the original fiberglass wick with a carbon felt wick, and that seems to be working fairly well. So after this burns down and preheats, I'll get this kettle on. Gonna make some coffee. And then after the water is done, I'm gonna cook some soup. So now I hear people saying that, oh, Nova is so loud and whatever. You know, when you're outdoors and you have the windscreen on and you have a pot on the stove, it's really not that loud. I mean, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's not super loud. Even cranked up pretty high, it's not all that loud. So this puts out a really nice heat. I'm gonna put the windscreen on, and just take a little watch and see how long it takes for this water to get to boiling. The nice thing about the Nova Burner and the Trangia is that it gives you a lot of variation in your heat control, and I don't know, I just really like it. I like this setup a lot. I use it a lot, and kind of gotten away from the alcohol burner, unfortunately, because I really like that too. But this setup really seems to work very well in all different kinds of situations, and I don't know, it's just something you don't see every day. You do see the Brunton Novas every once in a while on eBay. I've seen NOS ones, new old stock ones, and definitely used ones. A lot of times people don't know what the used ones are, or they don't have the pump. The pump seems to be the most difficult thing to find. You often see the burners and the fuel hoses, but not so much the pumps. But they do show up every once in a while. And, you know, like I said, it's not excessively loud. Like I said, the Nova puts out a nice flame that you can simmer on for quite some time. Obviously, one of the advantages of using this setup is that if you're wanting to do a long-term simmer, you don't have to worry about the fuel and alcohol burner running out. I mean, this fuel bottle, which is, I don't even think it's a half a liter, I mean, that'll run for well over an hour, especially if you're only just simmering. It's gonna last a long, long time. And we're just about 2 minutes here. Let me check the water here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's already bubbling. It's already going. You know, definitely hot enough to pour on my coffee. So, I'm going to take that off. Turn the flame down a little bit. And doing some luxury camping. I brought the French press along. So while that's cooking, set that aside. I have some soup ready to go, and I'll get that heated up as well. Turn the flame back up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I've used this setup a lot, especially in the wintertime. It's nice to just get things heated up quickly. It's also nice to simmer things. I've cooked large noodle dishes where you need to kind of cook it for a long time, and it just works really, really well. So now these pots are non-stick. That was one feature of the early Red kits, was that they were non-stick. This is the lid. Red, non-stick. This is the accessory Trangia strainer cutting plate, and also helps keep food warm. You definitely don't want to leave it on while you're cooking stuff. That's what the lid is for. But it's good if you want to set something aside and keep it warm while something else is cooking. Now, I hope you can see that the soup is already starting to bubble. Give that a little stir. One thing about the non-stick stuff, though, is you definitely want to be using non-metallic utensils. You know, I've used this rubberish silicone spatula for a long time, and I use plastic silverware and haven't really scratched it. There were some scratches on this set when I first bought it, but that's the way it goes with older non-stick stuff. But for the most part, haven't had any issues at all with the non-stick coming off. And I know I might say this a lot, but the one thing I really love about the non-stick is that, especially with stuff that's tomato based or very oily or greasy, a wet paper towel cleans it up in one wipe. There's no soaking, there's no heating up water and letting it soak and scrubbing or anything like that. One wet paper towel and a wipe takes it off, and you're clean and ready for the next time. And for me, I like that a lot. It just makes Makes it fewer things need to pack for camping as far as cleanup. It's just something I really like, and Trangia does a really nice job with their non-stick. So that's kind of about it. Soup's almost ready. Coffee's definitely ready. And a couple more seconds here and this soup will be ready, and I'm going to eat some dinner. Finally got a chance to get back out into the Pisgah National Forest. It's not where I normally go to camp, but every place I went where I normally go was full, even though it is a Wednesday. I mean, it's a Thursday. Jeez, alright, day behind. It is Thursday. I guess people are getting ready to go out for the weekend, so coffee's ready. Soup is definitely ready. And I'll just go for just a little bit longer, and then I'll show you how you turn the stove off. Some people have a difficult time, and I wouldn't say complain, but just voice their negative opinions about having to flip a pump over to turn the stove off, and how that wastes so much fuel and all that stuff. But you know, if you see your stuff is done cooking, or you know it's super close, like if you're boiling some water and you saw that the bubbles were definitely starting to rise a lot more quickly, it's not really difficult to turn these off. Now, sure, you can just turn the valve if you're maybe going to use the stove later, but since I'm not going to be using this for the rest of the night, I'm gonna just flip the pump over. That should be ready to eat. So what you do, pretty simple stuff here. Flip it to the off side, and that hose on the pump, you saw, is sticking up on an angle, so the hose is now hitting up here in the air pocket inside the tank. And that's going to force all the fuel out from the air pressure inside the tank. And when that's all through the fuel line, the flame will just simply die out. One thing about a Nova and similar burners is some people complain about the control knob getting stuck after the stove cools down. But if you do it like this, where you just flip the bottle and let all the fuel run out, and you don't touch the control knob, once it cools down, there won't be any problems with anything sticking. And that's one thing I kind of learned early on. You just bleed out the fuel bottle, leave this cracked while it's cooling down. You really shouldn't have any problems. So, thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and I hope to be doing some more stove videos real soon. Haven't really had the chance to go camping at all this year. It's been either too wet, or been out of town, or just been doing other things, and really haven't had the opportunity to go camping for a while. So today was the day to get out. And as you can see, this is definitely, you know, this is boiling. It's ready to go. You can hear the flame dying out. I'm going to be quiet so you can hear it dying out. And that's it. Thanks again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.